Nostalgia is a hell of a drug. And I try to remember that sometimes because I know that you can be persuaded by nostalgia. We all have that. Back in my day, music was better than it is today, but now you got your damn unions. I guess it's generally not. We all romanticize the past. So I try to keep that in mind, that when people tell you that Bob Cousy is the best point guard that's ever played in the NBA, you can look at them like they're an idiot, because they are. With that being said, the College Football the College Football Hall of Fame has released their 2026 ballot. And there was a name on the ballot that when I saw it, I thought, wait a second, that guy's not in the College Football Hall of Fame? How in the hell is that guy not in the College Football Hall of Fame? And I can understand the arguments against it, perhaps, like he never played on a team that went above 500, never played in a bowl game, was a quarterback and had a 48% career completion percentage. Those things aren't statistics that would instill in you somebody that you should be pounding the table, that they should be in the college football playoff. You don't see stats like that and go like, well, naturally, that guy 100% has to be in the College Football Hall of Fame, and went on to have a really nice pro career, actually, despite those things denigrating their resume. You look at, never played on a team that won more than 5 games in a season, had 48% completion percentage, I think 42 touchdowns and 37 interceptions. Ugh. And if you say that guy went on to have a pretty good pro career, an influential maybe pro career even, that shouldn't matter to their College Football Hall of Fame resume. But I think their college football resume stands alone, because I'm here to tell you that Antwaan Randle El is a College Football Hall of Famer. And if you don't think that Antwaan Randle El is a College Football Hall of Famer, I would like some of what you're having, because the reason that Indiana went 3-8, 4-7, 4-7, and 5-6 in Antwaan Randle El's 4 seasons in Bloomington is because he drug their ass there. I don't know how much IU football you watched in the late 90s, early 2000s. Those were not good football teams. Cam Cameron was their head coach. He went on to have a somewhat decent career as an NFL coordinator, not as an NFL head coach, but as an NFL coordinator, he went on to have a pretty decent career. But as the head coach at Indiana, he was the latest in a long line of coaches who sucked at Indiana. And so it's not his fault. They just didn't have a whole lot going on there. But Antwaan Randle El was the only reason those teams won 3 games, 4 games, 4 games, and 5 games. Because he was that good. And I know that when you look at the 42 touchdowns to 37 interceptions and a 48% completion percentage from the quarterback spot, that you would not think that that was really a great argument to have of, this guy deserves to be in the College Football Hall of Fame. And there was the year that they were going to play him at wide receiver that lasted, I think, a drive, because they quickly figured out that the only person who can get Antwaan Randle El the football was the center. And so when you are your team's offense, I put a high stock in that, right? Like it's probably been, I don't know, a little older than I would like it to. 12 years ago, 13 years ago at this point, I would have voted Tevin Coleman the Heisman Trophy winner. Coincidentally, a running back from Indiana, because by God, when everybody knows that you are going to get the football. I talked about this last year when I think Ashton Genty should have won the Heisman Trophy. When everybody in the stadium, including the 11 guys on the field whose sole purpose in life is to stop you from gaining a yard, and they still can't do it, I place a high value on that. Whether you have Mountain West offensive linemen or Mountain West defenders trying to tackle you, or you're in the Big Ten or SEC, if everybody in the building knows that you're about to get the football and they can't do a damn thing to stop you, I think that that's really, really impressive. And for 4 damn years, every team that Indiana played knew that it was pretty much going to be snap it to Antoine Randall, and he's going to have to figure out something to do with the football because his offensive line ain't going to block for him. His wide receivers stink. The defense is even worse. And for, I think, 2 years, he had a decent running back beside him. But other than that, it was going to be snap it to Randall, and he'll have to figure out what in the hell else is going to happen. Now, the only reason like Antoine Randall's stats aren't better, but you know what? I'll just make the argument right here, this case in point. Antoine Randall was the starting quarterback at Indiana for 4 seasons, okay? For 4 seasons. He played 11 games every year, had a 49.8% completion percentage. He's the starting quarterback for 4 years. During his senior season, he returned 16 punts. Sit there and stew on that for a second. Antoine Randall was a 4-year starting quarterback, and he returned punts as a senior. I want you to imagine a scenario where pick even the most recent, most truly dual threat quarterback that had a Kyler Murray or a Lamar Jackson, that they got to return punts because that's how desperate their team was for any semblance of yards, offense, etc. This is not the 1901 Indiana Hoosiers. This is the 2001 Indiana Hoosiers. It's not the day of friction stripes down the front of their jerseys and old tungsten arm McGillicuddy playing right tackle and linebacker. That's not what we're talking about here. We are talking about a guy who played quarterback for 4 years at a Power 4 school, returning punts as a senior, because if he didn't do it, who the hell else was gonna? So to me, like, that is the argument in a nutshell. This guy who, while he only threw for 7,500 yards, which if you let like Case Keenum go wild for a week, minor 7,500 yards, also rushed for almost 4,000 yards. He had 1,000 yards rushing as a junior, almost 1,000 yards rushing as a senior. He had a bunch of yards from scrimmage yards throughout his entire college football career. And I know that on the surface, if you were to just ask a bunch of people that like, hey, do you want to elect a guy to the College Football Hall of Fame who scored 45 touchdowns or was responsible for 45 touchdowns in his college football career? Never played on a winning team. Never went to a bowl game. 50% completion percentage. Almost threw as many interceptions as he did touchdowns. If you looked at all of that on the surface, or you never watched Antoine Randall play, you would not look at any of this and go, I think that guy's definitely supposed to be in the College Football Hall of Fame. But it's important to have people who did watch Antoine Randall play vote on these things, because for a long time, the only reason why you would be remotely interested in watching a game that involved the Indiana Hoosiers would be to see what Antoine Randall was going to do. I can remember I was probably, and I would have to look up the year to get the official schedule just to make damn sure. I was probably either 9 or 10. And Indiana played Ohio State when I was a kid the night of Trick or Treat in my small ass town. And it was always the Saturday before Halloween. Quick sidebar. Just make Trick or Treat Halloween. If you can't gear up one night out of the year, if it's on a Tuesday night, to go trick-or-treating. It shouldn't be convenient for the parents, all right? It should be convenient for the kids. That's just my take. Nonetheless, trick-or-treat was the Saturday before Halloween. And I can remember my mom driving us around to town to town, going like, hey, or not town to town, house to house in our little town, going, let's quicken this up. I want to get home and watch the Ohio State game. I'm like, does my mom care about Ohio State? Really? No. She's like, I want to watch what Antoine Randall is going to do. This is my mom, who doesn't care about college football the way that you or I, or maybe even some other women in your life, care about college football. Probably couldn't name many people on the Ohio State roster at that point. She's like, I want to watch Antoine Randall. As an Ohio State fan, she's like, I want to watch Antoine Randall. College Football Hall of Famer. Case in point number 2. My mom wanted to watch him, and the dude was a 4-year starting quarterback returning punts. If we get to a point where like Arch Manning is returning punts, I think that kind of cements you as College Football Hall of Famer if you're a quarterback. And your coach is like, the only way we're going to have any shot of scoring any points on this drive is if you drag our ass to the right spot on the punt return and then also drag our ass across the end zone, because if you don't do it, ain't nobody else going to do it. So, damn it, put Antoine Randall in the College Football Hall of Fame. I'll start that crusade. I want to know who you think the snubs from the College Football Hall of Fame are/have been. I'll put the ballot in the description box, and I want to see what you think. Who do you think, other than Cam Newton, who like you could probably go on a whole other tangent about like how the hell is Cam Newton now in the College Football Hall of Fame, but that's neither here nor there. Other than Cam Newton, who do you think deserves to be in the College Football Hall of Fame? I want to hear you. See you in the comments below. That'll do it for today's episode of the Daily Huddle. Appreciate you making us a part of your day, however it is, wherever it is you're doing so. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're getting all the great college football content we're pumping out. If you're listening on the podcast feed, drop a 5-star review. Goes a long way in helping out the channel. I'll see you tomorrow for another episode of the Daily Huddle.